This is Dr. Dill, which is my mentor. He is the reason that I'm in Indianapolis. So you've seen stories and videos, and you'll see more stuff from the content that we've created here. But this guy has evolutioned what I'm doing. If you're seeing me right now on camera, it's because he talked me into doing that. Because of a concept of how many people can be helped by speaking your truth and staying authentic to yourself. And that's what I wanted to capture him seeing and hearing that. He's never heard me say that to him. But two, that's blessed me more than I ever thought. And so as we roll content all the time, to be able to, it's for mental transformation for people. But you gave me the idea and pushed me to do that because it helps so many people. And people are messaging all the time of what I do and why we're shooting this content. But more importantly than that, what he's taught me is abundance and how he brings things to him, how he looks for abundance in his life. And then I got to shut up because I was here for a conference and the dude taught me for 2 days. And so he said he'd give me a few minutes and I'm going to take it. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Well, first of all, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Love everything that you've done, all the people that you're reaching, and of course everybody that is tuning in to your stuff. They equally are abundantly blessed. And so I'm super honored and privileged to kind of live through that extension. I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that tunes into your stuff, right?
Yeah.
I hope that everyone out there continues to be blessed. I also want to clarify, I didn't give you the idea, right? Because this is a universal idea, but I think that maybe just prompted you, nudged you a little bit to make the content.
Sure.
And one of the things, I'm super proud of the content that you're putting out because we always talk about how it's an obligation. And I think people, you're obviously a natural and you have a big personality, and I always tell you that. Like, I love hanging out with you and it's always a ton of fun. But there's a lot of people that don't have that personality, but regardless, even if you don't have Matt's personality, you have an obligation. Because obviously you feel that with what you're doing in the healthcare space, but also transforming lives through your coaching, that you can make a massive impact in people's lives. And so it becomes an obligation, actually, to do something like this. So likewise, when you ask me like, hey, can you take a couple minutes and do this? It's literally an obligation, and not to you, but to you, right? It's an obligation to help you to share a message that you are passionate about. And you never know when someone might be watching, and it's actually happenstance, right? Like they're just scrolling through and bang, they get this video and their life could be instantaneously changed. And because we don't know that, that's why we show up and do that. Abundance.
Abundance, and what he just, I don't know if you caught what he said there. In his life and all of our lives, life is not a zero-sum game, and he taught about that today, and I do want you to get into abundance, but what he just said is he gave me a few minutes because he's putting things in the deck for his blessings for the future, right? Like that, like without a doubt, the guy is on TV, on the reg, you've seen him all around, and he gets thousands and thousands of views, and I said, can I have a few minutes of your time? And he said, sure. Where and when? Now, let's do it. So that's real life example of him looking at it and saying, here's an example how I can serve somebody and put it in there, because somebody might catch this video that hears Dill and it's going to affect them. And I thank you for that. But
and likewise, look, for everybody, my good friend David Meltzer calls it stage theory. So anytime you have an opportunity to cross an audience, so the people that listen to your content, consume your content, are not the same people that consume my content. So of course I would relish the opportunity to share with your audience. I think a lot of times people miss that, on a small local business. We think like, well, I'm a chiropractor. Why would I do anything with a hairdresser? Well, because they have a whole other, we've limited ourselves into like, well, I'm a chiropractor, so I should be friends with the massage therapist and the acupuncturist. Like, we should be friends with the baker and the banker and the insurance guy, and like everybody, because we all have our different audiences, and you have an opportunity, if you can create a collaborative relationship, to cross-pollinate your information. And so for me, likewise, I'm passionate about a message, to have an opportunity, and I think that sometimes people miss that. Like, it's an opportunity for me, it's not your opportunity, it's my opportunity to be on your channel. And oftentimes people might come up to me and ask, or maybe that's what you did initially, like, hey, it would be great if I could have you, because it's your opportunity, but it's not really that way. It's really my opportunity. And I think sometimes too, we say no to opportunity and we miss out on a lot, right?
That's the perspective change that I hope you got there. So much perspective change on looking at an opportunity and being there. I think you said today, you don't get out of life what you want, you get out of life what you are. Thank you for being that example in this moment. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
And would you give me a couple little tidbits on abundance? And my favorite one, and if you're in Black Diamond Club or you are looking at Black Diamond Club, when you do join, you're going to see photos all throughout the social media pages of coins and people holding coins, and you're like, these guys all do really well. Why are they holding coins, and what are they taking pictures of a nickel and a dime? And so if you could just give me a little blurb on why in BDC, why is it a thing that we take pictures of coins and post it to the page?
Well, it's a concept that comes from the Little Money Bible. Right? So I encourage everybody to pick that up on Amazon. It literally is a little money Bible. It's small. You can read it in an hour,
One pocket,
right?
yeah,
Go in your pocket. And the concept is that we get sent signs of abundance all the time. We handed out evidence journals, right? Because many times we're blind to it. And what happens is this concept came from a time I was walking downtown Boston with a close friend. And we were walking, and probably from about 8 feet away, I was like, hey, look, it's a penny. And my friend literally said to me like, oh, I don't need a penny. And so we kind of walked by it, and I kind of want to be cool, right? So I was like, okay, but we got past it, and I remember this concept from the Little Money Bible because the universe sends us signs of abundance. So the universe sent us a penny. Now you have a choice. You could pick it up and be grateful, or you could say, I don't need the penny. And if you walk past that penny, literally what you've done is signal to the universe that you're good. I'm good. And therefore, when we talked about this is a repellent energy. You begin to send signals to the universe to not send you more abundance, right? Because you're like, I don't need a penny. Well, if you don't need a penny, you don't need a nickel. If you don't need a nickel, you don't need a dime, you don't need a quarter, you don't need a dollar, you don't need a $5, $10, $20, you don't need a $100 bill. We had literally a guy at our event come up to us and tell us, it was crazy. I was putting my journal in my backpack and it was jammed up. And I was like, what the heck? And I was looking in there and I realized that I had put an envelope in my backpack with $3,000 cash in the envelope, and I had forgotten about it, and I discovered it because my evidence journal, I was like, how fitting, right? The evidence journal was giving you evidence that there was $3,000, that you were carrying around $3,000, but we weren't appreciating it. And I think that's another part. We actually didn't talk about this, but we did talk about how we have these shirts that say, I am an appreciating asset. But appreciation has two definitions or two meanings. I can appreciate you, right, which means gratitude, but there's also appreciation, which is an increase in value. And so the key is when we recognize and receive signs of abundance, we want to receive it, we want to appreciate it, which means we want to give gratitude to it. But we also want to amplify it in value, and then we also did talk about this, then we set it free. That we could spend it or we could give it away. And what happens is because we appreciated it, it actually brings back more value. So now you start finding pennies, next thing you know, you start finding dimes, next thing you know, you start, literally people post like, I found a $100 bill laying on the ground. 100%. The other part of it is it's kind of awkward, right? Because like if you see a penny, everybody's like, yeah, I'm gonna pick up pennies. But what happens when you see a $100 bill on the ground? You don't just grab it, you actually send a rejection energy. Everybody does this. They go to it and they look around.
To see. Yeah, the what is that show? The What Would You Do?
Yeah,
like that show with
like, nobody's like, wow, free $100.
Yeah.
You do that with a penny. You never look around to see did somebody drop the penny, but the $100 bill. But that's interesting, right? Because we have repellent energy around certain things, certain situations.
Yeah, that's good.
And that sends a mixed signal, like you're saying. It sends a no-go signal to the universe that literally shuts us off from our future blessings, our future abundance.
I hope you got notes, and if you don't, you can rewind it, run it back again. The gentleman is doing very well for himself, many businesses, homes, the things, but still being able to pick a penny up, not because he needs the penny, but because of the energetic output and inflow that it brings. One of my favorite things you say is they've got all kinds of shows, and one of the ones that he does is on YouTube. It's a live show, and he gives out $100 every week. And he said, I love giving out the $100 because it always comes back with friends. And that's my favorite part, is it always comes back with friends, and I love that concept, and that's why I'm here. So if you're looking to join BDC, this is the content that's dropping. Do we do Cairo stuff? Yes, there's a bunch of Cairos here, but I think I heard a speaker say the greatest distance that's known is between the head and the heart. And that melding of that, sometimes in what we do or what I do as a chiropractor and at the practices, that disconnect happens and the abundance gets messed up, and that's where we find it. This is where we reconnect. And so I wanted you to hear some of the information that this guy's dropping, but I hope it affects you in a positive way, because it certainly has me. Thank you again.